Sound check. One. One. Sound check. One.
Welcome, classic rock fans, to Classic Gig Revisited, and for today I'd like to talk about a very special gig indeed which I attended a few years back, and that was this beauty. I don't know if you can make it out, but it's Kate Bush at the Hammersmith Odeon, or Inventum Apollo as it likes to be known now, the Hammersmith Odeon on Friday the 5th of September. And there you are, that's the ticket. I must say it was one of the most remarkable gigs I've ever been to, certainly one that stands out as being the strangest, or it didn't feel so much like a concert, more like a theatrical experience really. I mean, now Kate Bush is an odd one really. I mean, you would have thought with the hype and the fervour and interest that she generated with announcing these concerts, that it was an ideal opportunity perhaps to re-release remastered packages of her old albums, but absolutely nothing materialised. I can only assume that she's just not interested in anything like that. I mean, I would have imagined you would have had say the Kick Inside would have come out with perhaps TV performances, TV shows, stuff like that. There's that wonderful concert she did in '79. There was only an hour of it actually released on VHS. I don't know if there's any more material from that available, but if there might be some in a can somewhere, but is anyone really interested in finding it? I suppose my point being is that I'm pretty sure EMI wouldn't have missed out on a marketing opportunity to get this stuff out and make a lot of money from it, but I suspect Kate Bush is just not that interested really. And it's the same with these gigs. You would have thought that within 6 months of the last curtain falling, there would have been a DVD Blu-ray of the whole thing filmed. But it's been a few years now and there's been absolutely nothing, so I can assume that perhaps nothing is going to come out. Mind you, in saying that, I think we had a live vinyl, didn't we, or a live issue of the concert, but we never had any actual footage. And this show was certainly a spectacular, and it's certainly one that I think would have warranted being captured in high definition. That's a funny show really, because I arrived obviously they were checking passports as you went in, because there was no reselling of the tickets, but I was stood at the back of the stalls really. I had one of those standing sort of tickets, all I could get. But it was from the get-go, it was I mean, you go to see bands like the Stones or Aerosmith, and it's a full-on concert with great visuals and everything, and you're really sort of involved in the gig, or sort of drawn into it. But this wasn't so much like a concert, it felt like a theatrical play featuring the music of Kate Bush in many respects. It was absolutely remarkable. I've never seen anything so beautifully lavish, I must admit. But the first part of the show was just she mainly did a lot of the Hounds of Love stuff really in that first part of the show, and she didn't do any material south of Hounds of Love. I think she would struggle, to be honest with you, to sing a lot of that earlier stuff from the Kick Inside and Lionheart and Never Forever, because her voice with age of course had lowered at least a couple of octaves or whatever. It had come down a little bit, so I think she would have perhaps struggled to sing those songs unless it had perhaps been rearranged. But nevertheless, she chose not to, and chose to sing material from Hounds of Love onwards, which was absolutely fine. So Act 1, we got Lily, then we got Hounds of Love, Running Up That Hill, and King of the Mountain was wonderful, because King of the Mountain ended with this guy coming out sort of with this huge sort of whip or something like that, and I think it was then that the confetti, tons of confetti just rained down onto the audience. Now, funnily enough, the confetti was actually making its way on eBay and selling for a few pounds per little piece. So lots and lots of confetti came raining down onto the audience. And for the next part, we were treated to a beautiful production of A Ninth Wave. I mean, it was just, you had these guys in this cabin these actors, and she was like, she came across the audience on a screen as immersed in water or immersed in a tank or something, whether it was pre-filmed or whether they, I don't know, but it was just fabulous on the big screen, just floating there in the water, singing this song. And you had this helicopter that came down, what was like the sound of a helicopter, and the spotlight was in the middle of the going round around the auditorium. So it was almost as if you were in the water with her. You were completely immersed in this very, very beautiful, lavish, theatrical production. It was absolutely wonderful. The room at one point, I think, with the guys in, seemed to tilt and move around at some point, but the Ninth Wave, obviously, you got the video interlude, you're under ice, the whole thing, Dream of Sheep, Waking the Witch, Watching You Without Me, Jig of Life, Hello Earth, and The Morning Fog. I mean, if that wasn't wonderful enough, you got the we then got another interlude, of course, and we got A Sky of Honey, and the visuals were just absolutely stunning, with sort of trees and that merging. It was like a whole forest. A lot of it, of course, was projected so that the images could change or merge or morph as Kate Bush walked across the stage singing this song. I think her son also played an active part in this as well as an artist. As he was painting the scene behind her, it was like coming alive and changing. It was just it is. I've never seen anything like it, to be honest with you. I've seen some wonderful and interesting stage productions or performances from bands like Pink Floyd that were used to do very interesting sort of things with screens and things like that, but I've never seen anything like this. So for the final act, we got prelude, prologue. Of course, the prelude contains, I think, some elements from 50 Words for Snow. Prologue, extended elements, Consensual World, The Choral Room, Architect's Dream, The Painter's Link, Sunset Aerial, Somewhere in Between, Tawny Moon, Nocturne and Aerial, the whole thing performed. It was absolutely remarkable. The encores, of course, she did Among Angels and then Cloudbusting to finish it off with. But it was an experience, really, that I don't think we'll see the like of again, really. I think Kate Bush is one of the most remarkable artists of the 20th century. I don't anticipate she's going to do any more gigs. I mean, I didn't anticipate she was going to do these ones, to be honest with you. But it was just a wonderful thing to be a part of. I still actually have my tour programme. This is the actual tour brochure you bought at the gig. I'll see if I can share some of that with you. I mean, the sort of pictures and things like that was very... kind of encapsulate the sort of lavishness of the performance of the show. It is very much like a theatrical. Now these life jackets, you can actually buy these life jackets, I think in the foyer, but they were quite expensive, and I don't know if anyone actually did. That's of course her floating around in her tank. That's a still from the production. If you can see, that's an actual still from the production. Absolutely fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. So theatrical. Again, a beautiful scene from the concert. It was a truly remarkable experience. I'm glad to have been a part of it. That's the actual programme. I'm so glad to have been a part of it. Anyway, you've been watching an episode of Classic Gig Revisited. Thank you for watching. Please click like, subscribe, check out the Facebook page, but more importantly, please do keep listening.